What's going on, guys? To start this recipe, with 1 cup of white long grain rice, we're going to run it under cold water for about 1 minute. Washing the rice removes any surface starch that otherwise causes the rice to clump together or get gummy as it cooks. Once the rice is washed, allow it to drain for 5 minutes. Chuck a small saucepan onto your stovetop, place it over a high heat and add in the washed rice. Using a spoon, mix the rice around and allow it to lightly toast for 1 minute, just until the rice becomes slightly transparent, and this will give it a nice nutty flavour. Once toasted, pour in 1 3/4 cups or 475 milliliters of cold water and allow it to come to a boil. Once boiling, reduce the heat to low, place on a lid, or if you don't have a lid, aluminium foil works great, and then cook the rice for 18 minutes exactly, making sure not to disturb the saucepan in the process. After 18 minutes, turn it off the heat and leave the lid on for 5 minutes to allow it to steam. After 5 minutes, remove the lid, then fluff up the rice with a fork, and this will loosen it up so it's not all stuck together. Remove the saucepan from the stovetop and pour it out onto a plate or in a bowl. Spread the rice out, and this will allow for even airflow and for the rice to easily dry out. Allow this to cool down for 20 minutes, then place this into the fridge for 3 to 4 hours, uncovered, to completely dry out. You can also use any leftover rice you may have from the night before, and the reason we do this is because using freshly cooked rice that's hot and sticky will cause our fried rice to be soggy, and you won't have those distinct chewy grains that a good fried rice has. To start the prep, with 3 cloves of garlic, we're going to slice them up nice and thin. Once thinly sliced, continue roughly chopping them to achieve a small dice. Sprinkle over a tiny pinch of sea salt flakes, and this will act as a grinder. Then scrape your knife on roughly a 15-degree angle through the garlic, and this will turn the garlic into a nice smooth paste. Once that's done, add it onto a plate. With 1 small brown onion, slice off the end opposite the root, slice it in half through the root, and remove the skin. And instead of throwing the skins away, make sure to save them for a stock. Thinly slice the onion up to the root. Slice it down the centre, stopping at the root, and finely dice. Make sure to trim any excess flesh from around the root. And then the root can also be saved for a stock. Once that's done, add it onto the plate with the garlic. Peel 2 small to medium sized carrots. Remove both ends. And save the scraps for a stock. Slice the carrots in half. Slice a thin strip off the side, and this way the carrot can sit flat on your bench without movement, and slice the carrot into 4 even sized strips. Slice it into battens, rotate it 90 degrees, and finely dice. Once done, add the carrots into a bowl and pop them aside. Slice the root off 3 spring onions or scallions and save them for a stock, then come through and really finely slice. Once done, place in a bowl and set aside. Here is 3 rashers of streaky bacon weighing 100 grams. Stack them on top of one another and slice them into even sized strips. Rotate them 90 degrees and dice them into even medium sized pieces. Chuck them onto a plate with the onion and garlic and set aside. In a bowl, add in half a cup of frozen corn and half a cup of frozen peas. You don't have to use frozen, it just makes this recipe easier and cheaper. In another bowl, crack in 3 free-range eggs. Then using a fork, whip them together until nice and smooth. Just like that. To start cooking, place a skillet or wok onto your stovetop and place it onto a high heat. I'd recommend using a skillet for this, as it has a larger surface area for heat distribution. Using a wok on a home stovetop will only heat up the small surface area in the centre and not the large sides, resulting in inconsistent cooking. Once the pan is smoking hot, pour in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and give it a swirl. Add in the diced carrots, mix them around and fry them for 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, add in the onion, the garlic, and the bacon. Give them a mix, making sure none of the bacon pieces are stuck together. Then cook this for 3 minutes, stirring frequently, just until the bacon is lightly golden and the onions are slightly translucent. After 3 minutes, add in the peas and the corn. Give the pan a toss if you feel comfortable doing so, or just give it a mix around with a spatula or a wooden spoon and cook this for 20 seconds. Add in the cooked dry rice. And break it up to make sure there's no chunks, and if you do happen to leave chunks, the sauce won't absorb into the centre, leaving uncoated rice in our final product. Once broken up, add in 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1.5 tablespoons of dark or light soy sauce, and if you are gluten free, make sure your soy sauce is gluten free, and 1.5 tablespoons of sake, which is Japanese rice wine. And if you can't consume alcohol, don't worry, I've got you covered. All the details will be in the description below. Once the sauces are in, thoroughly mix the rice, making sure all of it's fully incorporated, and continue to cook for 1 minute. Move the fried rice to one side of the pan. Add in 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and pour in the beaten eggs. We're then going to scramble the egg for about 1 minute, making sure that it's fully cooked and not runny, because runny egg will result in our fried rice becoming soggy. Once the eggs are fully scrambled, we can then mix it through the fried rice, and make sure not to make a mess like I did here. Add in 1/4 teaspoon of ground white pepper and 2/3 of the thinly sliced spring onion or scallions. Give that one last mix just to ensure everything's fully incorporated. Spoon the fried rice into a serving bowl and top it with the remaining 1/3 of spring onion or scallions. And this looks and smells absolutely incredible. Now let's give this a try. It has a rich, savoury umami flavour. It's fresh, fragrant, and just incredibly tasty. This recipe here serves 4 and can be kept in the fridge for up to 3 days, and you can also freeze this down for up to 3 months. It's the perfect dish to use for a side or even a main course, and it's definitely fun to make. I highly recommend you try this out yourself. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. Stay safe, thanks for watching, and enjoy.